So, as we all know, Leeds United have been on the hunt for a goalkeeper in recent weeks. There were conversations around Petrovic, Dackman, Pope, Ramsdale, Sam Johnston, all kinds of people. This name, however, has popped up in recent days, and it feels like one that has popped up with a hell of a lot of seriousness. And having a look at a lot of the stats and data behind it, it could be the perfect goalkeeper move. So, talk about who I'm talking about in a few minutes. Why he's the right move for Leeds United, the sort of price we can expect to pay, and everything around this deal. But first, I'd hugely appreciate if you could check out the link in the description below for the Leeds Creator Cup charity match that's happening in just under 2 weeks now. It's going to be a fantastic day. £7 for adults, £3 for kids. It'll be wonderful. All of your favourite content creators will be there, and I can't wait to see as many of you there as possible. Anyway, I'm going to dive into the main chunk of the video now, because it is about 2:15 in the morning, and I kind of want to get this out by the morning. So, the player that is specifically being discussed right now is Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Now, typically when you see a report that is like X club have been linked with Y player, you tend to not put that much trust in it because it tends to not be that trustworthy. However, when it comes out of a journalist that you know is good at this kind of stuff, you kind of accept it. In this specific case, Gianluca Di Marzio, who is an expert in Serie A transfers, has discussed Leeds United having a pretty damn big interest in the player. So, specifically, the report on his website, because there's a little bit more than in the tweet, says there have been contacts between Torino and Leeds in the last few hours. The topic was the goalkeeper Milinkovic-Savic, for whom the English club have made inquiries. Napoli is always keeping an eye on the Serbian, but has not yet sunk him. The goalkeeper has a release clause of €19 million for Italy and £19 million, around €21 million, for abroad. Now, coming from Di Marzio, this is 100% something that I would trust. It's a thing where I completely believe that Leeds are looking at making this move, and it is a move that I'm very, very happy that Leeds United are looking at making at the moment. Firstly, because of a lot of the sort of underlying numbers and data behind him. So if I just quickly share my screen. This is Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. Serbian goalkeeper. Looks like a hard bastard, let's be honest. And if you have a look at his scouting report summary, these numbers are frankly ridiculous. Post-shot XG minus goals against measures the amount of goals per match that you keep out that you shouldn't. And every 3 games, this guy is keeping out 1 more goal than you'd expect him to, which is nuts. Over the course of the season, he's saving you about 12 goals, which is bonkers. His save percentage is in the top 7% in the top 5 leagues across Europe. Saves a hell of a lot of penalty kicks as well, more than half of them. In addition to that, one of the concerns that I've had with a lot of goalkeepers that we've looked at, I'm going to slightly change which view we're in. There we go. One of the concerns that I've had with a lot of players that we've been linked with at Leeds United is the sort of style that they are likely to play. So, for example, the amount of touches they will have of the ball. This guy has in the top 2% of touches of goalkeepers, again, in the top 5 leagues, which tells me that he doesn't mind the ball at his feet, which is something that we kind of need considering the style that our goalkeeper has played with for the past 5 years. Milinkovic-Savic is starting to look like the perfect option for us at the moment. And if I just have a little bit of a check of another tab, which is Opta Analyst, who are a company that sort of deals with a lot of footballing data stuff and actively put numbers to clubs, had a team of the season last year. And this is a very specific thing because I was reading through it just sort of a couple of weeks ago to find out which goalkeepers I quite liked the look of. And I'll be honest, Milinkovic-Savic wasn't their choice. Instead, it was Mils Vila, who is Roma's goalkeeper, who is admittedly a very good goalkeeper, who was expected to concede 39.2, actually conceded 30, he managed to prevent 9.2 goals. By comparison, Milinkovic-Savic prevented 12.6 of the same number of matches, which frankly is an astonishing number of goals that you keep out compared to what you are expected to. He's a ridiculous kind of goalkeeper. And not only that, but you've got to consider the qualities of the player in addition to the sheer sort of like numbers behind it. He's the right style, but he also brings a sort of leadership to him. He is a very, very experienced goalkeeper. He's 28 years of age, which is not hugely older than Illan Meslier. Is less than a year older than me for context, and he looks like that. He looks like a monster, but he brings a sort of further leadership to him that you don't necessarily get out of Illan Meslier. Illan Meslier, you could tell there was a little bit of a fragility to him. He wasn't quite the hardest bastard in the crowd. Whereas it feels like if you make a mistake that annoys Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, you're going to know about it pretty immediately. In terms of what his numbers for Torino looks like, the guy has played 144 matches for them, started all of those, conceded just 154, which is 1.07 goals per match, which is, again, very, very solid numbers, and he is playing for a decent side, let's not get this wrong. But his save percentage over those seasons combined is 75.8%, which is a crazy number. Very decent amount of clean sheets as well. Managed to save 5 penalties throughout that time from 28 attempts, which is admittedly not the 50% that he's managed this season. But I think if Milinkovic-Savic is the player that we go for, at 21 million euros, which is a fairly decent sum to spend on a goalkeeper, but being, in my view, the best goalkeeper in Serie A, he's absolutely worth putting that money into. I'd be very happy with that. It would be an incredibly strong move for us to basically come out of the gates and say, look, we needed to replace a goalkeeper. Sold Illan Meslier. If we sell Illan Meslier, he might stick around as a second choice. I don't see that being the case. But we've sold Illan Meslier and we've replaced him with one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. Us making that step would be such a sign of intent and would be a sign not only to fans and to pundits and commentators and to other clubs, but to other players that we're looking at to say, look, we're taking this very, very seriously. Come and join us and we'll build something. And I think that is going to be massively important for Leeds United when it comes to this season. And I'm looking forward to it. 21 million euros for one of the best goalkeepers in Europe is not something that you can sniff at. And for all the people saying that the 49ers clearly aren't trying, if, and this is a big if, because Napoli also sniffing around, Napoli are probably the big threat here. But if it's one that we do get done, it's one that no one can complain about in the slightest. Even people who are commenting just as rage bait, because that happens during transfer windows. But either way, I'm excited. And I hope you are too. Pre-season starts literally today, so we'll see how that goes. But as always, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Please do so, because for every subscriber that I've got full-time during the charity match that I mentioned earlier, I'm donating another 1p to Prostate Cancer UK. It's currently hovering just over 64 quid, but the more subscribers I've got, the more money goes to a very, very, very good cause. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.